let's take responsibility for what happened. Now, talking of responsibility, I've done two projects about this that I think I really love to mention. One is the documentary I was talking about before, which is the Pan-Africanism testing idea on reality. That was in 2015. The idea of that documentary was to ask fellow Africans, are we really innocent of what is happening in Africa today? Looking at, for example, the genocide in Rwanda, the war in Sierra Leone, even the civil war in Nigeria, for example. Have we taken the time to examine what is happening behind this war? Who are really the heroes of this war? What is really going on here? Whose game are we playing? Because until we take responsibility for that, we are not going anywhere. Now, another work that I did similar to this was in 2010. I wrote a book I titled Underdevelopment in Africa, My Hands Are Clean. By that I was saying, Africans, let's look at where our role is in what is happening to us. Because we cannot simply be innocent. Our responsibility cannot simply be to blame the other person. What of me? What have I done to free myself from this quagmire where I find myself? Because it is not the responsibility of the other person to free me. It is my responsibility to free myself. Because if it is the responsibility of the person who is chaining me to free me, then he will only free me when I am no longer useful. But what a life do I have if I cannot dictate where I want to go, and of course pay the consequences for that? So I really want to thank you for that. When you talk of responsibility, I think it's very, very important. And of course, looking at maybe the African diaspora today, because that is our focus. Can you maybe share something? Of course, I'm talking again to you, Gloria. Of course, even the people that are there in the audience, those that are. If you have something to ask to it, why not? You are welcome. Can you maybe share a personal experience that might highlight the transformative power of ancestral healing for individual or community? Anything you want to share with us there, starting with Gloria?
Okay. Thank you, Obehi. And thank you for your very spirited contribution there. Okay. Well, I'd like to encourage everyone to visit my website, gloriaogumbadijo.com, to read about people's personal transformative experiences and life-changing experiences who have had sessions with, who have done this work. I will talk a little bit about my personal experience, which I briefly shared with you, the genesis of it earlier when we started this podcast. I've lived pretty much decades of my life in perpetual fear because of the monumental loss in my large family. I came from a large African family, and to find everybody gone, there was, the murmurings typically that, well, maybe there's something dark and that, your family has been, something has been put on your family. And I grew up believing it. So I walked around with this sword of Damocles, or whatever they call that sword, hanging over my head, expecting it to drop any minute. Because it was like, if all these wonderful people have gone, who am I? But like I said, I passed the years of all these wonderful humans that have gone before me. I got to their age, I passed that age, and so I thought, okay, am I being kept here for something? Because I don't know what it is, but I'm afraid of the people who have gone. Death is something I grew up being afraid of. So I'm here alone. What am I meant to do? Yes, I was blessed. I had my family, my children, which of course brought a lot of succor into my life. But I still kept thinking, what am I here for? What is it? And if I'm just here to just be in perpetual fear all the time, what's the point? So as after, like I said before, when I became a minister and I still felt there was something missing, then I was introduced to this work. And from the minute I stepped into this work, and I actually allowed myself to make that connection, to ask for a connection, because our ancestors are they're everywhere, but they require you to ask them into your life. Once I did that, that fear literally disappeared overnight. I've lived with insomnia all my life, because I'm always expecting. I'm very hyper vigilant, always expecting something to happen. My children used to joke when they go to the restroom at night and they pass my bedroom and say, "What are you looking for, Mom, at 3 a.m.? Nothing is going to happen." And I would say, "I don't know, something isn't going to happen." It was the general joke around the family. But the minute I walked into this work, I have slept like a baby. I now have no more fear. I've welcomed my ancestors, and they have come into my life in a big way. And I was afraid to step into this work also for fear of what are people going to say. You know, I, people from my part of the world, like I said, there was a lot of hostility. There are people who quote unquote canceled me, defriended me, or whatever they call that stuff. And so I was worried. I tiptoed. And again, when I embraced it wholeheartedly, like my sister said about her journey to embracing her purpose, once I did that, it was like the light that has shone on me, the glow. Sometimes I have to cover myself from it, and that's not exaggerated, but it's just a sense of complete validation, belonging. That foreboding has gone. I mean, I'm now in a stage of my life where I've lived longer than I will live. And as much as that may sound dramatic, unless I want to live to be some Methuselah age, I know my time is really limited. So I feel that this has been a gift that has been given to me, and is a reason why I've been given this gift. And is to receive, just like there's a lot of debris, a lot of intergenerational trauma, there are things that have passed down. There are lots of superpowers and gifts that also that are waiting for us to claim. But we have to open our minds to it. And it's not a far stretch, because it's already in our blood. There are people who are trying to learn how to do what we're doing, want to learn about all these things. We don't have to learn anything. We just have to open our minds, because it's there.